Hey, Sasha, the options coach here. And if you're trying to learn to trade options, you might be wrestling with reading articles, reading books, watching video courses, watching YouTube, and might be even part of Facebook trading groups or Discord trading groups or that kind of thing. Now, in this video, I just want to show you a little bit of the comparison when it comes to Facebook trading groups. And this is kind of on the spot here because I'm going to go pull up some of the things that are directly in the groups and what's happening in them because I've joined a bunch of different groups, and just to show you what's going on and what's happening behind the scenes so that way you're aware of it. Now, before we get there, just realize and recognize just kind of what's happening here is if we look at a spectrum and in terms of actually trying to get better, and I'm talking about like knowledge and also getting progress of moving forward. So if you're actually trying to progress to move forward, one-on-one coaching is probably the fastest way to learn. And the way that I do the teaching when it comes to one-on-one coaching is we go on and we put on like a trade example, and we'll do another trade example, and we'll do another trade example. And then we meet up and we work together and we run through trade examples and scenarios in the same way that a doctor or a lawyer or even a police officer would run through trade examples and simulations. And then you learn from those examples. We review it or we analyze it, we look at it, and we go through each step. And we kind of have this progression stair-step pattern as we move forward. Now, this is going to get you knowledge, and it's also one of the important things, going to build a habit for you, which is quite extreme because you don't always get that in certain forms of education. Now, if we backpedal a little bit, let's just look at kind of dealing with courses. Okay. If you look at courses, what that's going to do is a video course, it's very visual and it will get you knowledge, but it won't build the habit, because when you're working together with somebody, you'll actually gain a habit of doing these trades and kind of repeating them time and time again, but at least you're getting knowledge. Now, here's where things get a little interesting, is that when we look at Facebook and we look at kind of like these trading groups, what happens in these trading groups, and one thing I want to point out is that with these trading groups, I mark them around here. And the reason I mark them around here is because what happens a lot of times is I call it cheerleading. So when you do a lot of cheerleading or pumping, or people are asking kind of questions, but the issue with the questions that are being asked is it's usually stock advice for what you think about where something will go or what you should buy. And the problem is that doesn't necessarily give you knowledge. What happens is it kind of feeds your cycle and loop, and you never really progress. It's kind of like in the sense that we've had a little thing in the martial arts where somebody had 20 years of experience in the martial arts. Well, really what happens is you might actually have 5 years of experience, but it's multiplied times 4. So really the person's only good at a 5 years experience, but they just repeat the same 5 years over and over again. And this is what happens, is that people in some Facebook groups, not all of them, but in some Facebook groups, there's just a lot of cheerleading or questions or pumping of a stock. Yes, go, 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 that kind of thing, and less so much about the questions. And it's not necessarily your fault. What happens is that we self-internalize these things that, hey, we're trying to fulfill our self-doubt, like we're doubting about a certain stock. And I've done this in the past before on other mediums back in the day, AOL chat rooms when I started trading. But that was a whole different ballgame. So what's happening then is you're kind of trying to figure out what to do to make money rather than trying to get better. And that's the bigger issue and problem. It's just there's a lot of fluff in those chat rooms. Now, when you start looking at these things, and we'll just pull up kind of like a Facebook group here. So we'll look at all these groups, and what you'll see and notice in a lot of cases is, let me look at this group feeds, and I'm just showing you what's happening on a bunch of different groups that I've joined. And of course, if you're interested, you could join our Facebook group. It's a little bit different. Let me just pull that up here, right here. So you can look at the Options Mastermind group here that we've got. It's the Options Black Belt group, and we just started it not too long ago, so you can check that out. But if we look at the group feed and just what's going on, there's just a lot of questions of, should I do this or do that? I bought Crowdcast at 258. Should I hold or should I sell? And then there's going to be a lot of opinions here going down. In some cases there might be some good content and so forth. Like here's I don't know, a heat map. But in general, it's going to be of pumping or dumping or what you think. Just a lot of cheerleading, right? Sold MMM yesterday, you're welcome. So it's kind of like, just a lot of fluff material. Where are the markets now? Let's see, trade idea for August 9th, options expiration, buy this, buy that. Let me look through some welcome members. Way too much concentration in tech stocks. Here's another heat map. Let's see what else we've got. Text alert sent. Any predictions on Netflix put will fare tomorrow? I feel like I messed up when I forgot about it and didn't sell it today before the close. So you can see what happens is like, people are trying to fulfill their kind of self-doubt or what should I do? Our group, we do things a little bit different, just so you're aware. I try to do things more like of a strategy worksheet or actually post like, little clips of content here of different things. That's kind of more like a newsletter to me. That's the way I kind of treat it. It's more just posting like little clips like that. Those are kind of the things like, hey, what strategy is going on? And those questions are more deeper, or the thought behind the content's a little bit deeper. But be aware that when you're dealing with Facebook groups in this context, that you're going to get a lot of cheerleading. The questions will be in terms of making money rather than actually improving and getting better. And unfortunately, it's a slow growth. If you're focused on stock picking for getting better, it's going to be a slow journey. So for example, if we look at somebody that's, just looking at picking stocks, okay, the growth is going to be very, very slow, because what you're doing is you're picking stocks. And if you pick the right stock and you did the right thing, you'll actually get fulfilled saying, hey, you did a good job and it worked out, because the end result was money. However, if you didn't do a good job, well, you didn't really learn much of anything, or you didn't try something different to alleviate, well, hey, what am I doing right or wrong? You're not able to see it. Like now you're like, how do I make it back? So there's a lot less content that's beneficial for actually growing your knowledge and then improving and getting better at trading. Whereas maybe if you have more on a coaching side, the way the growth happens is more like, okay, you learn a bunch, then you might plateau. You learn a little bit more that week, plateau. And it's a constant stair-step pattern. So when we're looking at coaching, there's constant knowledge, but you're getting accelerated. So that's really the big difference. And then you build the habits. So that's kind of what happens when it comes to just these growth curves of as far as learning or education in terms of trading. In some cases, what I've also seen is in some trading groups, you might accelerate a little bit, and then what happens, you plateau. And in fact, you regress, because now what happens, you're always looking for somebody's opinion, and you can't make your own decisions, and you don't know why you're doing what you're doing. You have no plan for yourself. So anyways, that's some things that you may want to consider and watch out for if you're like looking at Facebook trading groups. Comparing it to coaching. And the reason I did coaching was it's just an extreme example of like where you really learn faster. I mean, that's where I really see people picking up things very quickly, because that's what I do with them is I coach them. I work with people for multiple months at a time. I've done group coaching, so all those things really accelerate you a lot faster. The groups, nice for chat, discussion, that kind of thing. But most of them will not benefit you from improving your knowledge or helping you trade. So if you do find a trading group, make sure that you're actually learning things from there. There's actually content pieces that are actually less cheerleading and more knowledge-based oriented, more like a newsletter based. That's what I would look for. Anyways, thanks for joining me. Truly appreciate it. Feel free, if you want to check out our trading Facebook group, check that out. Or you could check out some of the freebies, PDFs that I've got as well. Worksheets, they're all down below. Thanks for joining me. I will see you next time.